So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. The Galaxy Note 20 Ultra 5G is still a very solid smartphone, and what inspired me to make this video is how well this thing just performed in my recent speed test next to the iPhone 13 Pro Max. I am astonished how well this phone actually competes still. You know, this phone launched in 2020 at the height of the pandemic. The Note 21 Ultra was canceled due to, chip shortage, and Samsung also wanted to push along the Fold series this year. So the Note 20 Ultra is the last Note that got launched. However, we should be seeing something more of a squared body in 2022 with the Galaxy S22 Ultra if the rumors are true. You can see there was a little bit of a thicker camera bump here on the Note 20 Ultra as well as the S20 Ultra. But still, you're getting a 108 megapixel camera on board. The current price point of this phone should run you somewhere in the neck of the woods of $800 to $900 US. Depending on where you look, it could be a little bit more or a little bit less. But I can tell you, for a few $100s off from the original price point, this is a heck of a deal because I paid well over $1,200 when I initially got my Note 20 Ultra. So definitely a better deal now than it was before, especially considering the price point. So let me go ahead and put this S Pen back in its slot down there and talk about the current design and the build. Why this is still solid is because we're still using premium materials on the edge here for the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, which is definitely a given considering the price you're going to pay for this phone. In addition, we missed the S Pen slot when looking at something like the S21 Ultra, using a thicker case to go ahead and get that in there. So definitely I do enjoy having the S Pen go right inside. However, it does mean you have a smaller S Pen versus something like the Fold or the S21 Ultra, but still, it's a lot more convenient and a lot less bulky of a case you'll have to use, and it's a lot, easier to live with, I would say, than having it on the side. Now, the back of this phone, if you take a look at some of the most current devices out there, like the 13 Pro Max, you hear that? They got the same feel on the back, that same glass matte textured. And this is very similar even to the camera here because it has that smudgy glass here for the 13 Pro Max. Same with the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. This does have a much farther reach on the zoom though. You can reach something like 50x zoom on this thing. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. You can see right down there, 50x, and the camera and everything will get a little bit more update when the One UI 4 does come available for this phone. Right now it's in beta, so I'm not actually running that just yet. Now, other things about the build. This thing weighs 208 grams, so that's pretty heavy. It's got a nice solid feel to it still even now. In addition to that, you are looking at IP68 dust and water resistance for this Note device, so it's definitely still feeling quite premium. All around the board, this doesn't feel any cheaper than any flagship phone that's currently available right now. So definitely stood the test of time very well there. Now, the next thing that's pretty awesome on this device is the display, and it's even more awesome than some other phones out there, and the reason being is it's larger. This is a 6.9 inch display. That's bigger than the 6.7 on the 13 Pro Max and bigger than the 6.8 on the S21 Ultra. And because this display does have more of a squared off edge here, it definitely has a more large feel to it overall. It just got this more tablet feel, I'm thinking back Nexus 7 days with the 7-inch display. This thing is a massive panel, and because of that squared feel, it does feel a little bit more productive, a little bit more like you have space. It just feels more spacious than other displays I have tried on the market. So definitely really nice to do split screen multitasking here, and there's a level of vibrancy on the Note series that is just unmatched. And it even looks a little bit more vibrant to me than the S21 Ultra, which seems to have gone a little bit more on the accurate side, trying to compete with the iPhone a bit more. The Galaxy Note 20 Ultra has this ultra vibrant display that just looks so beautiful with the contrast. In addition to that, the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra does use a very nice 120 hertz panel. So, the iPhone 13 Pro Max, 13 Pro come with this year, but Samsung has been having this. So you can see right here, 120 hertz. They've had this since 2020 on the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. So there's nothing really bad about that. The only thing about this is there's not a lot of phones that run it only in full HD plus. A lot of the phones now are running this in a higher resolution. You do have to sacrifice a bit on the resolution, but it's not a major sacrifice because that helps the battery life. And Samsung displays, even at 1080p, it's very difficult to see that much of a difference between these two resolutions unless you are reading text at night or something like that. Throughout the day, you're not even going to know you're in 1080p. It's still a very beautifully accurate, vibrant overall OLED panel here. So very nice dynamic AMOLED 2X display here. Really sharp text. You can get it up to 496 pixels per inch. Gorilla Glass Victus, always on display. It's loaded. This is an amazing panel right here, and it's one of my favorites on the market even to this day. So definitely, I think I'll be okay if Samsung does decide to go with a more squared body for the Galaxy S22 Ultra. And again, what really impressed me was the performance, just how smooth the gestures are, how well this thing is performing. Samsung's giving it great updates, and One UI 4, I've already been using it on the Galaxy S21 Ultra. It actually has a little bit smoother animation, so it's going to get even better than what you're seeing here. Overall, not many things to speak of, not a lot of stuttering, nothing like that. As a matter of fact, there's really no stuttering. Apps run smooth. A lot of the apps have been updated to support a 120 Hertz because a lot of Android phones went that route. So definitely a very nice overall performer, and it held its own against the latest 13 Pro Max in my prior video. Then one area I have to mention here is the battery life. 4,500 milliamp hour battery on here is definitely not the largest, but this phone can make it through a day, pretty much no problems. It also does have some pretty good power saving modes here for the device, which is quite nice. In addition to that, it does have wireless charging, fast charging. So essentially all the high-end stuff you'd be used to for a phone here. So definitely that's good. I also do kind of like the curved panel here on the edges. You know, I don't know if Samsung's going to stick with this because the flat displays are quite nice as well. But, you know, with this body, it's quite nice. You kind of just roll off the edge here to go back. And, you know, you still have a large, wide panel here. So a pretty wide display as well. Usually you don't get this aspect ratio quite as wide as the Note on some other Samsung phones, which tend to feel slightly more narrow, which I don't really prefer over the more wide display here, which just gives you more space. And that's what you're looking for when you buy a large phone. You're looking for a little bit more space on that panel. And the cameras, they're still very solid on here. You do have a ton of modes as you would expect from the Samsung device. And this is the one where they fixed the focusing issues that were on the Galaxy S20 Ultra. You have a 5x optical, which some people thought was a little bit long. You still have the ability to go into the 108 megapixel mode. If we go over here to more on the Galaxy Note device here, you'll see you have all of these awesome modes here. You even have dual recording. You have pro video. There's some new features they've been adding in the updates. So overall, a very stellar camera experience, and you can do some pretty high quality video all the way up to 8K, which is insane. A lot of phones cannot even touch 4K 60. So this is why you call this thing an ultra phone. You're going to get some amazing stuff. Going into 2022, again, very solid camera. Even the front facing camera is pretty darn solid. This thing can also do a very nice UHD 60 on the front camera. I really do like that front facing camera and this rear camera as well. It's just very nice. And then you have the ultra wide angle right there as well, which you definitely love to see on higher end phones. Now, this 10 megapixel on the front is not the highest overall quality, but hey man, you could put your hand right here. Let's go ahead and try to do it right there in the video. Now I'm blocking the camera. Let's go ahead and put it right there. You can see definitely pretty nice. You can also use the S Pen. And speaking of that, that's one of the most solid things about this phone. You do have the full S Pen suite of features, and that means everything. So if we go to the settings here, you'll have stuff you don't even find on the Galaxy S21 Ultra. So this is the true S Pen king, and that is the Galaxy Note device right here. So all of your S Pen features, very nice. In-display fingerprint sensor, still some of the most premium tech on a phone right now. I can't believe how great this phone has been and has been holding up. Not only that, this phone still has the expandable storage on board. You can put an SD card in here. That's something you couldn't do on, you know, the newer Galaxy S21 series, and it really does disappoint Samsung power users who want to expand their memory on their phone. This is a major thing about the Galaxy Note device, but some people believe that it's an older tech and it's going away. But hey, I like expanding memory because you can just stick that SD card into a computer and be on your way. And I think Samsung could potentially reverse decision on that, because look what Apple did with the MacBook Pros. They brought back SD card slots. So yes, Samsung can bring that back if they want. Not sure they will, but I would love if they did. And this phone is also still solid because it comes with 5G, which is still the future. 5G is still not widespread everywhere, so it's still the future. And you know, Samsung phones have never had an issue. And another thing is Samsung phones have never had an issue with the phone call quality. So the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra pretty much checks every box that kind of matters in a super ultra phone. You know, even has a punch hole display, which is saying quite a bit considering some phones are still using thick notches. So definitely this phone overall holds its own in going into 2022. Thumbs up if you found the video helpful, entertaining, informing. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you all in the next one. And if you have one of these or had one and traded it, let us know your experience down below. I'd love to hear your stories. I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well. Peace.